Hello and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Now, last time, as you all may recall, we started setting up our production plant for refining oil into plastic. And since that episode, I also set up refining into rubber as well. So we're getting plastic and rubber now coming in to that remote factory that we built. Now, the end goal of that, of course, is to start unlocking some of these more advanced Tier 5 and Tier 6 elements that we need to proceed through the rest of the game. Most critically, first things first, I do want to get our trains up and running. Trains are a really great way of moving large amounts of items back and forth around the map, and that's going to get our plastic brought into our main factory. We'll probably also use it for bringing in steel and some of the other things that are kind of a pain right now. But to do that, we need computers, and we don't have computers yet, so first we have to unlock industrial manufacturing. So let's go ahead and unlock that. So again, we got the plastic from our factory. I went by and picked up a bunch of motors from our motor production area. We need rubber from our production, and then the rest is just cables. And away we go.
Milestone reached. The manufacturer increases production complexity. A critical look at production line logistics and efficiency is recommended during integration. The truck allows for increased efficiency in transportation, automated or otherwise. New project parts enable progress to the next phase.
Okay, so as you probably guessed from that, we now have a new machine for assembly, which can handle these higher tier productions, and it's called the manufacturer. This can take 3 or 4 parts and assemble it into a single part. So again, our heavy frames is a good example of that, and some of these other things that are going to be coming up. I did use all of our heavy frames already unlocking these things, so we're going to have to manufacture a few of those by hand before we can use the manufacturer. So now that we have the manufacturer unlocked, we can start making computers. And we use computers, of course, in a variety of different recipes, but we also need them to unlock our train technology. So we're going to need to create a bunch of stuff by hand. So I'm going to build a whole bunch of heavy modular frames and a whole bunch of computers, and then we'll meet back here in a minute. Okay, so it took a while, but now we have all of our frames, and I picked up the last of our steel pipes, so trains are now unlocked.
Milestone reached. A new set of buildings and vehicles needed for long-range transportation has been made available. In addition to built-in power conduction, rails-based transit ensures increased efficiency and reliability for both the transport of pioneers and cargo.
Now, trains are actually not that expensive. We're going to have to make a few more computers here, but otherwise we can actually get started on setting this train system up. The other benefit of trains, in addition to connecting our freight, is that the railway acts as a power conductor. So it'll also automatically connect up our power grid if we so choose, which can make this a lot simpler to manage our various bases. But we also probably want to set up switches to be able to disable that at the point that we're connecting them. So for right now, we're going to set up a couple of locomotives and a couple of freight cars, some train stations, some freight platforms, and get all of this set up along our sky bridge that we had created previously. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm out here on this platform that I've just built over between our space elevator and our various production facilities next to our base. And kind of adjacent to this large platform over here by our Katerium production and other stuff that we have off to the side. I think this is where we're going to plunk down our train station because I want to store the plastic and rubber that's coming out of the facility all the way down by the coast in this big storage facility here, and then I can connect that to other facilities we're going to build out this way for higher tier production, computers, circuit boards, things like that. But I think this is the spot that I want to put it. Now, let me be totally frank here. I am terrible at laying out train stations and railways in general. The curves in this game still get me. Never quite exactly figured out exactly how to get them to line up perfectly, no matter how many tutorials I watch, no matter how many times I muddle my way through it. I always have to look something up, and something does not work right. So for right now, we are just going to rough this out as best we can. I've got a 5x7 platform here, which should be suitable, but it's probably not going to be long enough. We're probably going to make it a little bit longer just to squeeze this in. So I'm going to put the top of the train station right over next to the edge, as close as I can get it. And I think that's probably where we want it. Let's take a look from over here. I know that I need basically 2 foundations on either side, so if that's 1, 2, I think right smack in the middle of this one's going to get me what I want. Okay, like so. There we go, and it's exactly 2 foundations wide. So that's going to be going this way. And I'll probably do a loop here, so that it can then return back onto the main line and go back out. Let's see here. We will add our freight platform, like so. And we're going to need a second freight platform, but this is, as I suspected, a little too short, so we're just going to put another row here. Okay. And there's both of our freight platforms, which I believe are connected on the correct side. I think that these have to be on the same side over there. Okay. So now we've connected the rails to it. And again, this is the part where I always tend to screw things up. Because these curves, they always get me. They always get me. So first things first, let's make sure that we've got our foundations here. That's a little too far. And we're going to go back down this way, like so. Okay, there we go. So in theory, we should be able to do a smooth curve off of that, and have it end up right around here. But again, it's too sharp of a turn, so I guess I counted wrong. We need to come out 3 from here, like so. You're also hearing those spider cats down there somewhere. I thought I'd taken all those out, but apparently they're still around. Okay. So maybe this is far enough? Yeah, there we go. That looks nice and neat. 1, 2, 3, and right smack in the middle. Okay. Now that's going to come down here, and then we're going to curve in either direction with it. Now, one thing I do think I remember is that I think I need 3 platforms to curve a rail. So from here, I think it's going to have to go this way, and hopefully it'll end up right smack here. So to do that, we want to go, as I recall, the opposite way first. So we come to the far edge of where the rail is going to be. Whoop, that's not right. And I have noticed when you get this wrong, the rail tracks tend to undulate back and forth in a most disturbing way that'll make you a little bit nauseous. Okay, so I'm relatively certain I can only build it from one direction or the other if I don't have these perfectly aligned. And I think this is the direction I have to do it from. And again, hopefully I've got these lined up straight so that we don't get that weird undulating thing that happens. So we're going to lay this out so we have 2-way entrances and exits. For right now, I'm going to do 1 station per product line, but we might want to expand in the future, so we just need to lay this out for future expansion. So over here, we're just going to do the same thing as we just did on the other side. Give ourselves a little bit more room, like so. And one more. Almost all the way to the end with this one. Like so. Okay, and then we repeat the process. So we grab our railway and we take it all the way over here, right smack in the middle, until we get to that tick, and that should be a smooth curve. And then we go over here and we do the same thing. And right on that spot, I think is the correct spot. And then we just make a really, really short railway line coming in and out to connect those nicely. And I use the short ones there because I usually have to adjust something along the way, and that's the safest way to do it, is to give us a little bit of wiggle room. Okay, so that should connect nicely there. We connect up those two pieces. And then last but not least, we just want to connect these edges here that we have left for ourselves, like so. And on this side, I wish you could see the edges of the track a little better, but it's fine. And this will connect up to that one. Okay, perfect. Now let's check our signs. We want to set these to go straight through by default. So yes, to the left would be a straight through. This one, no, we want this to go to the right on this one. Left here, yes. And then this way, right. Okay. And then the last two here, I think left is fine for that one. And this is only ever coming in, so it's not really going to matter which of these it chooses. So we're always going to be going counterclockwise around our loop here. Okay, so there's our basic station laid out. Now, just for fun, let's build our trains. The trains are super cool looking in this game. I wish they had a little bit more customization to them, but I do like the look of them, especially these flaps on top that pop open when you are trying to slow down. Okay, and we're going to add 2 freight cars here, just like so, and that's going to connect up. Okay, and I think that's everything. No power, right, of course. Can't have a train without power. So for this, we are also going to run this off of our main line that we have down there. Although we could do dedicated solar just for our train station. That would be another way to go about this, but I'd have to go all the way back to our solar plant to pick up the ingredients we need for that. So for right now, we are just going to do a very, very basic power line. And I think I'm not going to worry too much about making it look nice and tidy right now. I'm just going to run this back all the way out to my main. So hold on one second, and we'll go do that. And just showing real quick that I've connected that back up to our main power supply that we saw in our solar power build with our power station we've created here. So we're connecting this up to the main, and we have color-coded these orange for the train-related power, instead of purple for transportation, which is normally used for our elevators and similar things like that. Trains need so much power that we're going to give them a dedicated line. Okay, back to building. Okay, back at our train, and as you can see, we now have power. So we can move ahead. Perfect, just like so. Okay, so our train is all set up, but okay, so I've put together a little railway station here at our desert base. I just wrapped this in some Structural Solutions concrete domes, and some concrete walls. And I've also added a platform up the top here, which you can see from my lookout tower, to allow all of the lovely plastic and rubber to go in and out of the facility. So I just put this little cap building on top, and I'm running this out through the roof, and then this goes all the way up and over back to our main storage facility. So in theory, our train should be starting to unload plastic and rubber as soon as it is available. And right there you can see the transition of those crates onto that platform. And there's our finished rail station. You can see I've added these chamfers along the front like we did on our storage facility over on the other side. and put a little bit of neon glow on the front, again using signs. And of course, the rounded top on this kind of matches with those as detailing. Not only did these on this side, since I don't have platforms on the other side, but this is the main way that we're going to be coming in and out of this station. So I wanted it to be super visible, just like that. Now we have to finish laying our rail system all the way down to our plastic and rubber production facility. And that is a long ways away. So I'm just going to go run these all the way down real quick, and then we can meet back up here for the construction of our second train platform on the other side. Okay, so here we have our platform laid out and ready to go. As you can see, our main oil production facility is below us. There's our actual oil extractor, and here's our plastic production and rubber production. And of course, we do have the two more nodes we still haven't hooked up yet, so still room for future expansion. So first things first, we're just going to set up another station at this end. We use the same basic layout as before. Of course, the station is flipped from where we were on the other side. We're coming in this way, counterclockwise again, but the other way around. Okay, so now we just need a pair of freight platforms. Again, putting the freight input on the far side from us, like so. And then we just connect up the rails again here. Okay, just like that. And I believe it should match up right over here. Again, like that. Okay. And we're going to do, and note that in this case, we're not going to connect it back out this way. There's definitely more things we need to connect south of here. but we haven't explored any of this area yet, so we're not going to even invest in building that out yet. For right now, we're just going to focus right here on this stretch. So bring this rail back over this way again, and then back out here, just like so. Perfect. And of course, we just want to close this in, make it look a little nicer and neater, connect that up to an existing rail line, and then close the loop here. Oh, wait, we don't want to close the loop from there, though. No, that would be silly. We want to close the loop on this side. And I have no idea why that is suddenly glitching out. There we go. Much better. And connect to there. Perfect. There is our rail line all connected up. Just need to put the last piece in place. Okay, and let's just check our signs. This time, yes, go to the right. This one is never going to be hit. This one goes around, and then this one is also going to want to go to the right. Like so. Okay, perfect. So, this is our other train station that we've set up here. And in theory, we should be able to set up our train and set it to self-driving and go back and forth between the facilities we've created. So, first things first, let's just rename this station so we know that this is plastic and rubber. So that'll help us a little bit to figure out where we are going. Oh, that didn't save, did it? Plastic and rubber. Okay, good. So this train, we'll edit the timetable, and it's going to want to go here. And at this station, we're no, we don't want to do one complete unload. We just want to wait up to, let's say, 30 seconds. And we're not going to unload anything, but we do want to only load rubber and plastic. So let's make sure that that is set properly. Plastic. Okay, great. And then the next stop will be this station, which we definitely need to rename. And here we're going to unload our rubber and plastic. Like so. Perfect. So we do one unload and one load, and this we also are going to wait for, let's say, 30 seconds. That should be enough to completely unload. Not positive, but I think so. Okay, and now if we turn self-driving on, in theory, there we go. You can see it moving on the map right over here. It's going around the loop, and it's heading straight for us. So we're probably going to want to make sure that we are way, way, way out of the way. You can see it right there in the distance coming in. And here it finally comes. Rolling in. See those vents opening up as it's trying to stop. And there we go. Our train has arrived. Now, in theory, it should... well, there's nothing in these containers yet, so we know that that's not going to be loading anything. But if this had any items in it, it would, of course, pick these carriages up and drop them on top of the train, and then it would go on its merry way. So that means we need to start putting things into the train, which we can do from down below here. We are right over the oil, so we're probably going to... Oh, looks like it's on its way. So we are going to bring our items up probably just over this edge here through the side. Now note that I was pretty careful to not have this overlap with the solar panels because we don't want to lose any of our solar power by having it shadowed. But we do need to take all of these items that are currently going into the industrial storage there, route it back up and around and into this platform here. Okay, so we're going to want to drop or bring our items up through the floor here into the various containers that we have laid out here. And note that these have an inlet and an outlet. So the outlet is on the right-hand side and the inlet is on the left-hand side. So we can connect these just like so. Now, we only have Mark III lifts so far unlocked, so we're going to make do with those, but we'll upgrade to Mark IV here in a little bit, which I think we do the expanded electrical. I think that's the correct unlock that we need to get there. Now, let's see here. I've created a little chamber underneath of our platform. And this is just going to hold our conveyor belts and whatnot here so that we don't have so much of a spaghetti mess. And then we'll run our various lifts down the side here. But we are going to have a couple of pillars that are going to be supporting all of this, but these are only temporary pillars right now. So the actual lifts will go in on this platform. And that means we need to drop them down somewhere. So we want to give ourselves a little room for future expansion. So I'm going to put one here, and I'm going to put one here. And now we need to connect these up in various ways. So the Mark III lift that's coming down here, I'm actually going to turn out a little bit. And this one I'm going to do straight, like so, and that's going to be the inlet. And here is our outlets. Like so, and then we just run our belts together there, and this belt we're going to run down almost all the way, just to give it enough room to hook around. Oh, you know what? That isn't going to work, because it can't make that turn. And just like that. Okay. So here's where all of our various items will be coming in to our platform. Now, one thing we are going to have to keep track of is which is which. It doesn't really matter at this point. It will matter coming out the other end of the train line, though. So we don't really have to solve for it right now, but it's something to start thinking about how we want those to connect. Now, all the way up there, our input poles. That's a long way up. Okay, so we just want to bring these then down here. And we point them the right direction here, so they're facing in, not out. Just like so. Okay, and then we need to bring them a little bit further down because they didn't go all the way. So the front one is going to be facing like so. And the rear one, we're going to turn out because we're going to go in through some sort of hole here. But actually, you know what? I want these to come up a little bit further because I don't want them to collide with this pipeline because I think that'll look bad. So we're going to go one notch higher. And the easiest way to do this actually would be to use our conveyor walls to try and line this up a little bit. Like so. Like that. So in theory, yeah, this should be perfectly lined up. The other one is going to be less perfectly lined up, but we can make it work. Like so. Okay, perfect. Now what we need to do is move all of our items that are in these storage containers back up that way. Now, I will note that these storage containers are not all the way full yet. And it'll probably be useful here if we actually remove some of these so we can make this trip a little shorter. Okay, and there we have it. Now what we need to do is bring them, our two lines, back around this way. So, looks like the plastic is flowing. We should see the rubber flowing. And now we expect to see our conveyor belts both going up. Here comes the plastic, and there we go. Up, up, and away. Perfect. Okay, let's take our elevator back up to our floor in between. And we can see that these are going into their respective containers very rapidly. And that means that in theory, yes, here we go. All the plastic and rubber that we could ever want should be slowly coming in here. And that means the next time our train comes along, it should pick up all of the lovely ingredients that we have here. Or at least 30 seconds worth, which should be a decent amount. Okay, so this will do fine for a train station. But, we might want to go ahead and just make it look a little nicer while we're here. Closing in some of these walls and various pieces that we've left everywhere. Just make it look a little neater. Doesn't have to be super perfect, but a little bit of detail would be good to have. So let's do that real quick. So I gave myself a little room on either side here for these platforms, and frequently what I like to do is put a tilted roof on the top of this, kind of the same way that we did on our power station. I think for now we're going to use the basic walls, but we'll probably change these into glass ones at the bottom here. So maybe what we'll do is do a basic wall down this section. Let's zoop this instead, like so. And then we'll do let's do frame windows. I think I have enough, brought enough with me for this. So frame windows we'll do down like this. And we're gonna go up, not all the way, but most of the way, like so. And then we just need to close it in on the top, which I think should be about 2 walls high. I'm going to do a series of our mini walls, the 1 meter walls. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use our fix-it roof architectures here. And I think a 2 meter roof is a nice pitch for this sort of a station. And if I have measured that properly, we use the 2 meter roof here, and we should get that without clipping. Let's do 6. And there. And perfect. You can see it's kind of lining up right nicely against that edge. And it then will overhang by a half unit. Or in this case, 4 meters basically of overhang. Okay, and there we have it, our finished train station. Now, you can see I added in our label signs again to have a glowing indicator light that this is the good way to go in. Green light means go. And I had some painted beams here on the side to break up our textures a little bit and to match and pair with these windows that we did. And then, of course, on the other side, where the train comes out, we have red lights telling people, do not go in this way. So I think that looks pretty darn good. Well, I think that about does it for this episode of Enterprise Architecture. We've gone ahead and set up both of our train stations. We've got a rail line connecting between our 2 bases, and all of our plastic and rubber products are being shipped all the way back to our main base for further usage. I think next episode we'll start setting up a couple of those manufacturers that we unlocked and start using that plastic and rubber, particularly for the manufacture of computers, which we're going to need for a bunch of different things. And maybe we'll unlock a few more stages here that we've got available as well. But for now, thank you again for watching, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends.